Today we're going to talk about business agility, but one of its topics, alignment. And the reason alignment is important, it's simple. Highly aligned companies grow revenue 58% faster and are 72% more profitable. And a great alignment tool is OKR, Objective and Key Results. They're a lightweight alignment framework. OKRs, Objective and Key Results, they engage and clarify strategy. They align and measure business outcomes instead of simply the deliverables. They understand and align capacity and demand. And you know, I already said align probably about a dozen times, but I'll say it many more times. And another thing OKRs are very helpful and they're great for is to help prioritizing. Helps to focus the work that we'll do to deliver the outcome we're looking for. Prioritization is a very difficult thing in most organizations. I bet you will probably seeing, well, there's about 7 different priority 1 items on my backlog, right? That never happens. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Another interesting thing about OKRs is a lot of people think they're relatively new. Well, they're not. Unless you consider 47 years or so old new. Yeah, because they started in 1975 at Intel. And one of the persons who was working at Intel at the time, John Doerr, went to be one of the early investors at Google. And he taught OKRs for the Google staff at the very beginning. I think there were like 20 people or so. And to this day, Google credits OKRs being the reason of their success. Because guess what? Alignment. Oh, I think that's 13 times I said it, right? Well, keep counting. I'm going to use the word alignment a lot more. OKRs promote transparency. They improve the communication. They are easy and simple to understand. And we use OKRs to achieve outcomes through common goals, shared commitments, and accountability. The key thing about OKRs is to go for the best possible result, not the most probable. And we oftentimes settle for the most probable. Now imagine if you're a professional athlete and you settled for the most probable. Well, you are going to be beaten all the time because your adversaries are always going for the best possible. It's about doing the things that are difficult and attainable. They're difficult, but they are attainable. Think about 1961, the moon race. Kennedy goes in front of everybody and says, we are going to land a man on the moon and bring them safely back home by the end of the decade. That was not easy. And to tell you how not easy it was is, it took us 50 years to go back and do a flyby. And imagine how much technology changed. That's the enormity of what they did. That's how you should think about the best possible result. It's attainable, but it's difficult. We choose to do the difficult things because if we don't do that, the competitor will. The O part, the objective, is a qualitative statement designed to drive the organization towards a goal, towards an outcome. They must be short. Because if you write half a page, nobody's going to remember it. They must be inspirational. They must be easy to understand so people can focus on it. They must be ambitious. Remember, the best possible result. Very simple examples of objectives. Reduce development cycle time. Enable everyone in the company to make decisions based on live data. They're very clear. They're very simple. Then you come to the KR part, the key results. It's basically a measurement to whether you achieved an objective. And remember the ambitious thing that I just mentioned, right? So the key results, you should always be asking yourself, are they outside of my comfort zone? They must be. But they also must be measurable and verifiable. 2 simple examples of key results. Net Promoter Score of 41 or better. Engagement gaming time went from 2 to 6 hours per day. They're gaming a lot and, hey, I sell games, that's great for me. Now let's go back to alignment because I didn't say alignment enough times. But you're probably thinking about, okay, so you gave me an example for objective and key results, but those are kind of disconnected. Where's the alignment on that? So imagine you have strategic OKRs, which are high level and affect the whole organization, and that cascades down all the way to the team level. That's called vertical alignment. But there are also situations where multiple teams are working into something to achieve an objective. That's horizontal alignment. They all have to be working together towards that objective. And you're probably asking, can you give me an example of that? Yes, I can. Imagine like this, your organizational OKR, your strategic OKR says, we want to increase customer engagement. We want the customers to use our products more often, and etc. So that's the big strategy thing. Now let's imagine you have this department over here who is creating a new system that's going to replace a very clunky, an old one that the customers don't really like, and therefore they don't engage a lot. They use it as little as possible. So we're creating this new system that's going to get rid of all the problems that the old one is much cheaper, better, and faster, and therefore we're going to increase engagement. Okay, so that's the vertical alignment part, strategic and department level. Now, in order to migrate from the old system to the new system, there are multiple teams working to that to make that a reality. Each one of them has a small piece of the pie. They have to do a piece of work, and when all those pieces come together, you have the new system in place and you can migrate your customer. We talked about alignment vertical and horizontally. We talk about going for the best possible result. But there is one last thing I don't want you to forget. Do not, and I repeat, do not tie OKRs to rewards, ever. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.